The United States House of Representatives has passed a spending bill, including money for the president's border wall, to keep United States agencies open until February. The measure now heads to the Senate, where it is expected to fail, setting the stage for a partial government shutdown on Friday at midnight. Mr. Trump had said he refused to sign a short-term funding bill that did not include money for his United States-Mexico wall. The proposed southern barrier was one of Mr. Trump's key campaign pledges. The lower chamber on Thursday night approved the government spending bill in a 217 to 185 vote, which included Mr. Trump's request for $5 billion his promised border wall with Mexico. The measure passed hours after House Speaker Paul Ryan and other Republican leaders met Mr. Trump on Thursday afternoon to discuss budget negotiations. The Senate had unanimously passed a spending measure on Wednesday night to keep the government running until late February ahead of Friday's deadline. But the bill did not include border wall money, and the Republican president on Thursday insisted he would not sign any bill that did not contain wall funding. Mr. Ryan told reporters after the meeting, "I have made my position very clear. Any measure that funds the government must include border security," the president said at a Farm Bill signing event later on Thursday. The House version includes $5.7 billion for the United States-Mexico barrier and $7.8 billion for disaster funding. But the bill is expected to fail in the Senate, where Democrats could block the 6-0 vote majority needed to approve it. Although Republicans control the Senate, Mr. Trump's party only has 51 seats. If Congress is unable to agree upon a temporary funding bill by Friday night, funding will expire for agencies that control federal law enforcement agencies, airport security, space exploration and farm programs. The bill that's on the floor of the House, everyone knows will not pass the Senate, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said just before the vote. Fears of a government shutdown over the wall set markets on edge on Thursday, when the Dow fell by 2%, over 400 points, to a one-month low. Mr. Trump's supporters had earlier accused him of caving on his promised wall, including members of the ultra-conservative House of Representatives, Freedom Caucus, as well right-wing media outlets, Breitbart News, and the Drudge Report. Meanwhile, some Trump supporters have decided to take matters into their own hands, launching a $1 billion online fundraiser for the wall. The GoFundMe has amassed more than $9 in 3 days. Brian Kofish, the Iraq War veteran behind the campaign, said raising the money was achievable if every Trump voter pledged $80. This will not be easy, but it's our duty as citizens, Mr. Kofish said. We can help President Trump make America safe again. The president had planned to begin a 2-week holiday at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, but will remain at the White House should a partial government shutdown happen. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28. It said in a statement, "These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants." Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017. far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia, since it and Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government, the United States military said. Alongside our Somali and international partners, we are committed to preventing Al-Shabaab from taking advantage of safe havens from which they can build capacity and attack the people of Somalia, the United States Africa Command said. Al-Shabaab, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Somalia-based security think tank the Higher Institute said in a report published in November that Al-Shabaab had been forced to change tactics following the upsurge in airstrikes. The institute said the group was now conducting fewer mass attacks on military bases, but attacks on government offices and businesses which refused to pay its taxes had increased markedly. The United States State Department, in its most recent report on terrorism, described Somalia as a terrorist safe haven, and said Al-Shabaab remained a threat. Despite suffering setbacks, the group retained control over large parts of the country, and the ability to carry out high-profile attacks using suicide bombers, explosive devices, mortars, and small arms. The report added, a popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Mann, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://qxl19ypqlpic. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpada Shenzhen-based LED and display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Mann,
46,
used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also allege she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Mann, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Man's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, 2 Canadians, a former diplomat and a businessman, have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security.